Hello, this is the Aftermarket Report with Vegas and Jim. Today's date, January the 30th, 2019, and what a great day. Vegas, I'm going to hand it right over to you.
Wow, what a really good day, actually. So many things to talk about, but I want to talk about how the Dow Jones jumped 400 points because the Feds kept the rates unchanged. I'll talk about that in a minute. We're also going to talk about AMD. We're going to talk about Facebook. We're going to talk about NBEV. We're going to talk about NIO. And you know what? I think I might even throw a bonus swing trade idea. So, first one is I want to talk about the Dow Jones. So, the stocks gained some momentum after the Federal Reserve officials announced that they would keep the benchmark interest rates unchanged. And that, signaled some flexibility in their policy normalization path forward. So, the S&P was up 1.5%, or which, convert that into 41.05 points as of the market close. The Dow also advanced to 1.77%, having been up about 250 points ahead of the release of the Federal Reserve's latest policy statement, which came out around 2 o'clock earlier today, Eastern Standard Time. So, they did mention that they're going to pause the interest rate hikes and holding the target range of its benchmark interest at the current band of 2.25 to 2.5% following their January meeting. And this outcome, just so you know, was widely anticipated and expected by the market participants. I mean, Jim was saying it the whole time. He doesn't think they'll raise it. And you know what? He was right. So, people were watching closely for more clarity surrounding the Fed's recent rhetoric of being patient with monetary policy amid waiting economic data and concerns of a global slowdown. But in light of global economic and financial developments and inflation pressures, the committee will be patient and determine if there's any future adjustments, obviously, that will happen with the target for the federal funds rate may be appropriate to support these outcomes. So anyhow, we'll see what happens. So that was good news. And on now over to the first pick, which is AMD. Oh my God, this should be called OMG, but this is AMD. You guys know I'm a really big fan of advanced micro devices, and they're kind of like, NVIDIA's little baby. NVIDIA is how I like to view this company. They had their best day in 3 years. After they've had their earnings yesterday, they announced a strong full-year outlook, and much of it was coming into the second half of the year. The shares surged 20% to the close of about close to over $23. I was predicting about $23 today, actually. And oh my goodness, I was so excited for Jim because I've been pushing him, as you guys know, to get into options. And he bought an options trade yesterday for the $20 calls. And him and I touched base last night about AMD. And I told him that it's going to be, going up probably $23 tomorrow. And he's like, okay, I'll be watching this stock. And he's obviously going to sell his option. And my goodness, he did very well on it. But a lot of people held on throughout the day and did very well. I mean, it went from like $99 investment all the way to $315 on a $99 investment. So $215 profit. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So excited. And I'm going to let Jim talk about AMD chart. And I want him to share, if you don't mind, Jim, your options experience because, it's your first time and the fact that, you didn't really put in a lot of money. So I want to be able for you to inspire people with a little bit of money to try and grow an account with options.
Yeah, I mean, I've been wanting to. I've been kind of strictly on myself about wanting to do it, and I've been trading for a while, and I can really read the charts and stuff. And finally, at the first of the year, I convinced myself that I'm ready to go ahead and dove into this, and I opened up a Tastyworks account, and I started a $500 challenge in options. And yesterday, Vegas suggested that maybe we get in that AMD, which we've been watching from about $10 all the way up to 20, and we ran it up to 30 one time. And so I bought me a 97, cost me $97. It was a $20 strike. And then after hours, it ran up. So I knew when I woke up this morning that I'd probably get in a profit, and I made 138%. I invested $97 and I made $138 out of the trade. So I'm going to give my kudos to Vegas for finally getting me in it. And we're really going to become a great options team, her and I, and the room. I can see it coming all the way. And I bought me some Bank of America calls today for 30. So we're going to see how that goes. And I'll probably scalp them. I don't think I have the patience yet to hold them long, but I think I got them for February the 15th. And so I'm still going to have a lot of time to get in and out of that trade. And that's basically what it is. And then we're going to go ahead and show you the chart on AMD. Let me get this chart up. Hide a few things here. AMD after hours right now is at 23.14. Vegas called $23 today. It hovered around that 28 area for quite a while today. But here we are. When we got in it right before the market closed, I bought into this thing around 19, I think around 1950 or somewhere around there. And after hours, it boomed up, hit that 21.38. So when I got in first thing this morning, I went ahead and sold it right off the bat. Sold it at about a 20, I think it was right around 22.30 something, 22.38, somewhere around there, 22.30. And then she dipped on down. Now it started a little trend line, and we bounced off that trend line a little bit, and then we went diagonally all day long right around that 22.33, and then right into close we had that bounce, and then it hovered around 85, 22.85, and then here after hours we had a high. I hit my 22.36 target that I had for a trend line. That's where that trend line was right here. You see how I drew that diagonal line up through there? And I told the room, I said, we're going to probably close right around this area right here, right around 22.36. And we went to 22.38. It is below the trend line right now. So basically we run off that 50 SMA after hours. And here we are at 23.17. And this is a stock we called back, oh, let me pull up. I think that's let me pull up 3 months. There we go. Called this thing right around $10. Well, that's not even it either. So I'll pull up a year. You have to excuse me, I got a little excited trading this thing today. We called this stock down here at $9, and we were really talking real strong about it right around 10. And that thing ran all the way up to $34. I wouldn't be surprised if we hit that $30 again sometime this year pretty easy, because this stock's really amazing. This stock ran for the low, I think around $2 or something, and that's what we got right here, 34.14 high. So that's AMD. Keep your good eye on it. In Vegas, thank you again.
You're welcome. Glad that worked out. I mean, there's nothing like more exciting than doing your first option trade and actually making money on it. So congratulations, Jim. That was a great, great profit on a small investment. So congratulations. I'm very happy. Okay. So, and I got him to buy a few different ones today. So if you're in our chat, you'll know I'm talking about options a lot. Especially because, I'm really focused on helping people with small accounts. Okay. So next one that I want to talk about is Facebook. Who seriously was expecting Facebook to actually soar and crush earnings? I think many people thought, with all the bad press that they've been having with privacy, that they certainly would not be exceeding their earnings. But you know what? They crushed analyst estimates at $7.37, which is a 21% increase from last quarter and a 19% increase from last year. Mark Zuckerberg has been mentioning, he's been drilling down on the company's stories features. The revenue for the December was $16.91 billion, which marks a year-over-year growth. This is insane, but a growth of 30.4%. That is just absolutely crazy, crazy money that Facebook is making, and no thanks to people that have Facebook accounts. Because if there were no users on Facebook, I mean, they're making all their money from those revenue ads that they post on their platform. So, daily active users and monthly active users matched expectations. Actually, they jumped 1.8% quarter over quarter, and 8.6% year over year. So it has the increase represented slower growth in the recent years, but it still shows that the company's scandals and public privacy disclosures, honestly, haven't really dinged engagement too drastically. I don't think people care. I mean, most people that actually probably do care, um, they're going to cancel their Facebook account. I actually know many people that canceled it or they don't have one, and that's fine. But the majority are still engaged in Facebook, and they're not going to disengage just because of what was in the news about privacy and all the data scandals. So, congrats to Facebook, especially people that trade the stock, or in our case, I look at an options call. So, Facebook's a little expensive from a stock perspective to really make any money. So I was really looking from an options perspective. So I figured, you know what, let's look at an options call going into earnings today after hours. This option call expires tomorrow, but the call that was purchased was the 157.50 strike price call, and it was $1.20 for the contract, which is $120 investment. Facebook's trading right now at 162.14 as I'm speaking, and we'll see what it trades at tomorrow. But that option should be worth a lot more than the $120 that I invested. I only bought one because I'm not such a big risk taker with options. And we'll see. I'll let you guys know tomorrow what I sold it for. And I'm excited to see where it goes tomorrow. So the fact that it's up almost $5 from my buy, we'll see what that really is worth tomorrow in the market. So over to Jim now on Facebook and the chart.
Oh yeah. Well, now that we know these earnings have really run up, I expect this to go a little bit higher. Not a little bit, but a lot more. And I'll show you why I say that. We got a yearly daily right here. The yearly daily showed us mid-year last year at $218. Then we had that big gap down during the controversy with, him going to court and having to testify and do all that stuff. So this thing has just had a downward wedge for about 6 months and hit bottom there, right there about 123.02. So then here we run up to this. This is a yearly daily chart, and now we're rubbed up here to this, what I would call a 100 SMA. So I'm going to pull up the 20-day now, and I'm telling you, this thing can run up to about, at least back up here to the pivot point. Pivot point on the stock was at 155, and we broke past that after hours. So let me take it up here, and we run up to 164.14. Next resistance I have is at 165. I'm going to pull up 3-month daily. And I've got different resistances that can go up here. So I've got the 176.97. That's another $10. Another $14 to go up. So we got to break this little resistance. And let me pull this up on the daily. It'll probably pull back. If it pulls back any to about 160 is what I'm thinking. But this is very bullish. We could pull back maybe to this 100, but that would be a low support at 157.87. And I'm going to pull up the 20-day, just get another glance at it. I'm trying to figure out where I can find the next resistances. So we're at 162. Pull up 3-month. That's right in here is where we are right now after hours. So we can bring this, I say, all the way up to 176 is going to be my target for right now. 176.79 with a low support at where we before the breakout came, and that's going to be right here at 151, and I don't think we're going to get down that far. There's just no way, not with these earnings beat like this. So the momentum's picked up, and this is Facebook, and I'm very happy for Vegas. She made a good chunk on that today after hours. Now hopefully it stays up here for tomorrow morning.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I'm so excited because, like I said, I've never really spent big money on options. And I mean, $120 is maybe not big money, but when you're not, options expert, and I'm no way near that, it's just having confidence in the earnings and the chart. And I really liked what I was seeing with the money flow coming in on the options scan. So I was looking to anticipate earnings, but certainly wasn't anticipating this
Nope.
nice jump. So I'll let you know tomorrow. So stay tuned for what I sell that for tomorrow. Okay. So the
NIO.
next NIO. Oh my gosh, can I just tell you? So NIO. Okay, so two things. First of all, with NIO, let me just tell you guys. So a lot of people yesterday, including me, thought that NIO was having like an offering, and people just dumped the stock yesterday, including me, by the way. Took some losses on NIO. And, they actually were launching a $650 million 5-year convertible bond, which is basically using the proceeds to fund an expansion. And I actually like when that's what the money is going to be used for. Um, pretty much what they do, it's almost like having a bond. It's an equity linked bond. And what happens is they can then sell it for cash or stocks. And, the reason they do this is it's cheaper than to a cheaper funding avenue. And it allows for an exchange for giving the bondholder the option of converting the debt into company shares at a set price in the future. So I kind of really like that. And we'll see what happens. But so what ended up happening actually is Louis, the NIO's CFO, told investors on the call that part of the reason for selling the convertible bond was really to make up the difference between what the company raised during its IPO and what they thought they would need to raise. They raised $1 billion, $1 billion in their US IPO, but it had earlier aimed for 1.8 to 2 billion. So, the timing about the convertible bond market was receptive to a deal, and he didn't really want to wait until March or April and risk a possible worsening in the US China trade tensions. You know what? I got to tell you, that's a smart CFO, okay? And convertible bonds are booming in Asia, hitting their highest volumes last year since the financial crisis, with $35.5 billion raised. And this is according to Refinitiv data. So, I think this is really good news, actually, not bad news. And that, again, is just my opinion. You have to remember that internet giant Tencent Holdings and Hill House Capital Group are NIO's existing backers, and they will be buying $30 million and $10 million of the convertible bonds, respectively, which is according to another source that's been by the Reuters report. So we'll see what happens. But definitely, I will say, NIO had a beautiful move today. And I was like, oh my God, why did I sell my shares? But you know what? I actually misread the news because I didn't really read it properly. And I was in a rush. And I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to sell it. Now, just so you know, when I sold my shares, it hadn't pulled back. I sold them at 694. And this was after, this is before the news yesterday came out. Then this news came out and the stock pulled back. I think it went as low as like 660 or 650s. And at the time, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know this news was coming. I'm so glad I sold. But let me tell you, I was not happy this morning. And you know what? NIO is on a really good, nice little track here. So, you know what? As traders, sometimes you make mistakes. You got to admit it. I mean, I'm admitting it. So, I'm impatient sometimes. I'm usually very patient, but I actually got very impatient with NIO. And you know what? That costed me money. But lesson learned. So, Jim, over to you on NIO, because that was a great trade today for the day traders, and people on option land were happy too. So, can you tell us about NIO, please?
Yeah, Niall, and I understand where she's coming from because she's been in this thing for a long time and it just hasn't
Oh, yeah.
moved. And then it did sell off after hours. And so basically, we called this triple bottom down here at 592. I called it out, and we run up to what I call a pivot point or a resistance level, and it just didn't want to break that resistance level for a couple of months. And I'm going to pull up the 3 month. You set 92, and it bounced up, pulled back, and it bounced up to about 680, pulled back, and then today it had the big breakout from where she got out at, and it pumped up to about 50 cents from that spot. So you're getting up here again at the resistance levels, and this stock just kind of loves to pull back a little bit and bounce back up. But we had a 3 month high up here right around 807, and I got in this thing at $10. So it hasn't really performed well at all. But I sold it. I didn't take much of a loss, and I just waited for this pullback right here, this 5-day pullback, and then I called that triple bottom right down there at 592. And ever since then, it's kind of picked up the mustard, pulled back again to $6, and then it ran on up to that resistance level at $7. And I've been calling this $7 forever. And then it pulled back again to that 660, which I had as a good solid pivot point in this channel right here. And so I'm going to pull up the day's chart, and you can just see the little bit of act. Well, first I'll pull up the 15-minute. You can see the action, how it pulled back after hours, and then here we go. We bounced right up, back up to that 594 at 694 area, 699. Then it pulled back again this morning at 672. So Miss Vegas did have an opportunity to get back in it if she liked, but there was so much going on today, and she was doing very well. So she probably made up for it today with her trading, and then it bounced on back up here to 753 today, and then pulled back. So if this thing pulls back, I'm going to be looking at the 50 maybe, and we'll look at that right now on the daily 1 minute. We kind of snuggled up, consolidated in this area, and right now it pulled back to 740. So still, she might be able to still have a chance to get back in here at that 690 area that she was talking about earlier. Because this stock is kind of funny, and it does pull back. But it did break out of that resistance. And I had these trend lines already on here, so we kind of popped up to that 755. And that $7 is what needed to break. And that's what it did today. So I'm thinking she's going to have another chance to get back in it, not lose no money on it, and get a second wind on it. But it is looking interesting. It sounds like it's going to beat Tesla's earnings so far. So that was in the news too. So Tesla's a little worried about that. We're long on this stock. There's no doubt. We do love the action on it. And that's NIO. And then we got Vegas. You remember NBEV?
Absolutely. I mean, NBEV, we've been on, like, honestly, I've been bullish. We've been bullish on NBEV for the long time.
Yep.
And I got to tell you, I mean, Jim and I talk all the time. And, one of the things I talked to him about at one time regarding NBEV was about this collaboration that they were doing with Noni Juice. And Noni Juice is owned by the Morinda company, which is morinda.com. I don't know if Jim has a chance to show you that website. But they actually were bought by NBEV. And they announced news today of a global expansion of what they call the Noni and collagen beverage, following record sales in initial markets. So what is this all about? I mean, the Noni group, just so you know, I want to take you back in time for a little bit. Noni juice, I actually know this juice when, 20 years ago, believe it or not, I used to work at the bank, and this lady mentioned to me about this Noni juice. And she asked me, you're so good with, explaining things to people. You should sell this juice. I was like, what are you asking me to sell? Anyways, long and short, I heard about the Tahitian Noni juice. I even went to a conference to learn about this juice. And I was floored by this juice because it's a natural Tahitian Noni grapes and the antioxidants in there. It's natural fruit. It helps to stimulate your skin. There was people that had like psoriasis where they actually took a tablespoon of the juice and actually put it on their skin. Like they rubbed the juice into their skin, like 1 tablespoon every day. They rubbed it into their skin and they would leave it on for 2, 3 hours and then they would eventually rinse it off. But can I just tell you, the psoriasis disappeared. People's joint. One lady told me she had joint pain. She was taking this juice, 2 tablespoons a day. That's all she took. And she told me after 2 weeks, the joint pain disappeared. So I was like sold on that. I was like, oh my gosh, I got to get this juice. And you know what? It just wasn't my thing back then. I was like not into it. And you know what? I didn't really, become this major salesperson on noni juice. But amazing now. Fast forward, how NBEV is took over the company, and they now have a noni collagen product. And what they're doing is they are offering the brand in 50 ml glass bottle shots. It's used as a once daily use, and it's sold in 3 10 packs for a 30-day supply. So what'll happen is your skin will obviously has natural elasticity, but um, it's built with the noni juice foundation, this product, and apparently the launch has been so successful. So it's going to be a huge, significant role in the beverage landscape of 2019, and it's going to be an all-time high, big interest on the market. So people will be able to use this new product. So I'm interested to see how this product's gonna be marketed. But yeah, it's gonna be basically 50 ml glass bottle shots. So I guess you'll have to drink it. So it's not I don't think it's obviously not a cream because they're calling it a noni collagen product. And noni is a beverage, and this is NBEV, so it's not a skin cream. So this is going to be really interesting. And I look forward to, you know what? I think I might even try it out. So when this becomes available on the market, I am going to be looking to try this out because I love the noni juice in general. That's done wonders for people's skin. But I want to see how they're going to manufacture this in the juice. And it's going to become the noni collagen juice. This is going to be amazing, Jem.
Yep.
So
And
I think this is exciting. And Bev, to me, down the road, I won't be shocked one day this stock's going to be in the $10 plus. So over to you, Jim.
yeah, it brought in for the first 2 months. This noni juice brought in $4 million in revenue for its initial test markets.
Wow.
4 million in revenue, and that's just 2 months. And that was marketed in let's see, it's a Colorado-based company. And it was marketed in Japan, Taiwan, and now the U.S. So 50 additional countries, Europe, Latin America, they're all going to get some of this stuff. So I'm going to talk about NBEV chart. We've been very bullish on this for more than a half a year. And I'm going to pull up the year daily. We noticed the breakout on this thing back here. And we were in this thing up and down for quite a while. And then all of a sudden we had this big, huge breakout up to $10. So we did hit that $10 target, just $9.99. And it pulled back to a resistance level about $8.91. So what we need to kind of do, and I'm going to get rid of these two trend lines here because that was a pattern I was playing a while back. Let me see here, remove drawing, channel 1, there we go. So we got a trend right here. I'm going to draw this up on the year's chart. From right about here all the way up to, it can exceed on out to really solid support level of, and I'm going to draw that up. So we're going to pull this up to 20-day. Every chart tells a story. Every chart tells a story. And you can see I've got all kinds of scribbles on this, all kinds of yellow lines, and I've just been playing the heck out of it. Well, I had a low support down here at $6, and that's been my solid support. We never have touched that. It never has come back and touched that. So it's ran up. It hit my little resistance at 655, and then past 5 days we had another breakout, pulled back to that 50 right there, and ran on up to this 740, and here we are after hours again, pulled back to $7. This stock is just wonderful to play on pullbacks. I'm 100% bullish on it. We're going to pull up the daily and look at it real fast. You see how we had a high here and it pulled back to my 674 support level. Then we had that pull back again today at that 674 level. And right out of the gate, it broke up and pulled back. And I like to wait that first 15 minutes unless I'm really in a momentum stock. But this first 15 minutes of the day, I usually make pretty good money because I'll get in on a dip. It seems like a lot of stocks will dip after that initial breakout, pull back, and then it ran all the way up to that 740. We had a double top we need to break here right at 744. Need to change this trend line. So I'm saying right around 774, and then we had to pull back mostly for the rest of the day. So I wouldn't be surprised if this thing bounces back up pre-market and then pulls back a little bit, maybe finding another resistance support level at this $7. If you can get, we're at 702 right now. So 697 somewhere around there, and I expect this to go ahead and keep on running probably for the next month or so, back up to that 990, and we're going to probably have some more breakouts because this constantly gets news. And I'm going to show you just one thing about this stock that I like a lot about the company, and that's the products, the brands that they have. They just really growing real fast. They're excelling. They got the Marley drinks. They got just a ton of drinks also that will be coming your way in markets close to you. And it just keeps going on and on and on and on. And then they added that new one today. So this is NBEV. I'm 100% bullish on it. Play the support levels. Don't rush into the trade because this is a stock that you can definitely play the pullbacks on and scalp. And also hold long. So if you don't have a core position, you might want to grab one on a good support level. And that's NBEV. Then we got the special bonus.
Yeah, I just want to say while you were talking,
Yep.
Can't believe that action on Facebook's just crazy.
Yep.
Absolutely crazy. Went as high as 168.90. Like, this is a crazy
It's
stock
going to go
tomorrow.
up because the earnings
Oh
really
my
pushed
goodness.
this stock up.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So this is I'm excited for tomorrow, but we'll see tomorrow. This will be my first probably really good options trade.
And I did say
Where it made
180,
decent money.
170. This thing can go a lot higher.
Oh my goodness. Okay, we'll see tomorrow. Okay, so the surprise or the bonus that I like to share with you guys is a ticker called PYDS, and it stands for Payment Data Systems. And the reason I actually like this particular stock is that they did announce not too long ago, actually yesterday or a couple days ago, that their record transactions for processing year end was a record volume up of 19%, all-time record of $3.4 billion. Okay. This company's in Texas, by the way. They are an integrated electronic payment solutions provider. And, obviously they process credit card transactions. And you can take a look at their website if it interests you. But it's, you can check it out, called paymentdata.com. You can send money with your, your credit card. They got all kinds of little tools that you can download to your phone. It's almost, I'm going to have to research the stock a little more, only because it kind of reminds me a little bit like, almost like a little PayPal. And this is kind of where customers use it and however they want to pay you or be paid. So this is interesting. I'll have to research a little more from a consumer perspective, because usually I think from the consumer perspective, you can have it works with Apple Pay, first of all, and they also have like what they call, I guess, like a MasterCard debit that you can have, and I guess you can use that card, and to obviously manage expenses and use it for bills and like a typical debit card. So anyhow, I'm going to research more. I'll talk more about it another day. But I did like it because of that information, that they had record volume, all-time record of $3.4 billion. It seems to me that this company, the stock's in great shape. New 52-week high. Love the setup. very attractive chart, and I'm looking for a continuation on the stock. And Jim, what are your thoughts on this? Because you were helpful with me this morning when we were looking at the chart together.
Yep. Told you that we had the 52-week breakout. And this is a three, and let me see here. It's a 3 month. I need to pull up the 3 year weekly. So this has got a lot more room to go. We had to get up to this resistance level here at 263, and that's what we hit. We had a day high of right around 266. Then it pulled back to 250, and we've got still some more room on a 3 years chart to bring it up. So I brought it up to about 287. Then we got a big gap to fill beyond that, and that's around 237. And yeah, 237, 340 and 345. Then we've got some wicks we got to fill up too, and it had a 3 year high of 410. So I'm going to pull up the 20-day real fast and show you the pattern that it's in. We've had a pretty good upward pattern on a 20-day. Down these old red trend lines are from last year. So we busted past that old red trend line area, and then we went into the 52-week high right here, which is at 234, 340, 240, and we ran all the way up to a day high of 265. Next resistance on this baby is right around 277. And I always tell everybody, don't chase a stock. Try to find an entry on a pullback if you can. And support level on this right now is going to be not too far down, around 253. Then the next one's right around 246. So this is one to keep on watch. This is PYDS, and I like the idea too that it's record-breaking. People are getting involved in this company, and we'll just see how she does tomorrow. But she did break out of that 52-week high.
Absolutely. And you know what? I was just also reading one other little company is that they did post, okay, this is from Louis Hosh, the president and CEO of the company. He did say the other day they're thrilled they have achieved the highest quarterly, and this is key, okay? This is why I like to read articles when I actually study them. It's the highest, not only the quarterly, but the highest annual level of total transactions processing volume since the company's inception. This is massive. Record annual revenues for 2018, and they also had a lot of acquisitions where they've acquired and generated new business partners that are joining what they call PayFac business, and they've added 8 new partners recently. So I think the revenues are just going to keep going. Not to say the stock's going to run forever because everything pulls back, but this is an interesting one. So keep this on watch, like Jim said. Have it as an active swing trade currently, and we'll see where it goes in the next couple of days. So yeah, thanks a lot, Jim, for that.
I think the low support on this is going to be right around 234. So that was the previous high that we hit. And a lot of times when I see these things, I'll say the low support, we don't want it to go no lower than 234.
Okay, so I would be comfortable with a stop loss there.
Yeah.
234, 233 max, and that's it. If you hit that, done, out of the trade.
All right. Well, I also want to make sure that everybody subscribes to the channel and they hit that bell. You hit that bell and you'll get our future updates. And if there's any people that like the video, please give your comments, and we'd like to hear from the ones that dislike it and see what they got to say.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't, then tell us what you don't like.
We can make an improvement.
Yeah, we're always happy to listen to your feedback. And again, at the end of the day, the information is to help everyone. So thank you, everyone, for your time to listen to us talk. And hopefully you're making money with some of the information that we share. And if you are, we'd love to hear that. So thanks again. Have an amazing night, and we'll speak to you on Sunday, because tomorrow is, it's tomorrow. What day is it tomorrow? Oh my God, I'm losing my mind.
Tomorrow's Thursday.
Tomorrow. Oh, yeah, we'll probably speak to you tomorrow. Tomorrow. I thought today was Thursday for some reason. I'm a little ahead of myself. Okay.
You always are.
We'll speak to you guys tomorrow. Yep, always got to be ahead 10 steps. Okay, guys, have a good night. And ladies, have a great evening. And we will connect with you, everyone, tomorrow. Good night for now. And I love stocks. And now, you know what? I love options
And
too.
congratulations to the room today for following us in our options calls. And we have some pretty good options people in there that are just getting better day by day. And we just want to give you all kudos too. So this is the aftermarket report with Vegas and Jim, January the 30th, 2019. And this year is going to be a real good year because last year wasn't so hot. But when the market's red, we like to stay green. I love stocks.